Peace and elevation, family. It's your brother Mike X. Just wanted to drop a quick message. This message, while it may be helpful to, more than one person, I really want to speak particularly to the individuals who are having a hard time fitting in to this whack ass world that we're living in, man. And what I mean by that is I'm talking about the type of society that a lot of us are being compelled to strive to fit into, hierarchical societies, man, particularly here in America. The type of society that has been ordered and organized, man, first and foremost to offer privilege and preference, to white people. You know what I mean? Socially, politically, and economically, America has been ordered historically and even presently to serve, to privilege, white people. Now, that's not saying that all white people, had something to do with that, but the fact remains that what I'm saying is the truth. You know what I mean? And of course, man, black people have been the biggest victims of that social, political, economic order, and because of that, most black people want to see some type of change, Some black people just want some type of reform, They don't necessarily want to be free, to where they have to become responsible for their own lives, responsible for their own safety, responsible for creating some type of economic system, particularly, jobs and businesses, that they are responsible for running and owning and controlling. A lot of black people don't necessarily want that level of freedom and responsibility. They want to continue to work within, somebody else's corporation, somebody else's business. They just want better treatment, and I could dig it, I could dig it, if you don't want to be free, and freedom, there's responsibility in freedom, real freedom, God bless the child who has his own to be able to exhibit a level of freedom over how they're going to run things. But there's hard work involved with that. There's responsibility involved with that. It's not just about coming in and punching the clock, and somebody else is going to do all of, the considerations of how much taxes, is going to be taken out. How much of that money is going to be set aside into a healthcare insurance package, These is the benefits of working for somebody else and these businesses and corporations, and a lot of black people don't want the full weight of freedom to have to do all of these things for themselves, So it's better to punch a clock for some, But then for others, and businesses that are run by others, other races, other ethnic groups, and they find that a lot of times they're the last hired and the first fired, or that they're held to a particular level of scrutiny that other racial ethnic groups that may work in the company are not held to, so they're living or they're working in a job and they're mad, they want more equity in the business. They want more justice. They want things to be fair, but we're not living in a fair world, where it's somebody else's responsibility to make sure that there's a level of equity and justice meted out to everyone. The level of justice and equity that you experience and you're able to enjoy is going to have to be brought into reality by you. Doing what you need to do to be responsible, to create what you want. The number one problem for black people in America, man, is we've been taken out of the creative mind. And we've been put into a dependent mind. We're caught up in waiting for somebody else to do something for us that we've forgotten how to do for ourselves. But yet, we want justice. We want equity. There's no way that you're going to be in somebody else's establishment and be totally dependent upon them for you know, whatever it is, for the paycheck or for the food, the clothing, the shelter, you know, that you are dependent upon. There's no way in the world that you're going to be able to demand from those people who you are dependent upon for them to treat you the way they treat themselves. And so, if you really want equity, you really want to be equal, you really want, you know, justice, you know, you really want to be able to enjoy the level of power in this society, in this world that they enjoy, then you have to commit yourself towards building your own. You have to commit yourself towards being creative, you know, to build for yourself what they have built for themselves. You know, it's just like when we were kids, man. And we didn't like what our parents were telling us. That you got to go to bed at a certain time, or you better be in this house by a certain time, or else I'm not letting you in. Or, you know, I don't want to clean up my room. You know, and they were like, yo, as long as you live in my house that I pay rent in, or mortgage, or whatever the case may be, as long as you live in my house and I'm the one who's paying for the food and I'm the one who's paying for the clothing, you know what I mean? As long as you live in my house, you're going to have to go by my rules. Oh, it's not fair. And, you know, I think that I should be able to. Yo, as long as you, bottom line, as long as you live in my house, you're going to have to go by my rules, you know? So what are you saying, Brother Mike? I'm saying that we got to really look in the mirror and question ourselves, and we got to question others. There's some of us who have messages of freedom and liberation, you know, that we carry to our people in these communities, in these neighborhoods. And we talk to them about being free. And a lot of us can't understand why more people are not choosing freedom. You know, the type of freedom, man, where we want to take ownership and have legitimate say-so over the social, political, and economic affairs in our own community, so that we can turn our neighborhoods into, you know, little Africa, you know what I mean? Or the Black Village, you know? A lot of us want to have those types of arrangements and that level of power and authority in our neighborhoods. But what we have to contend with is that, again, a lot of the people amongst us have been destroyed for the lack of knowledge. A lot of the people amongst us have been spoiled, rotten, you know? And they want someone who's going to feed them. They want someone who's going to clothe them. They want someone who's going to house them. They want someone who's going to be responsible to keep things safe, you know, to send in a security force or the police, to be the referee between us and other people who live in our neighborhoods. We got to keep it real funky, man, if we really want to be honest. Police brutality is a problem, yes. But the bigger problem is that we shouldn't be so reliant upon the police. We should be able to, in the light of love, in the light of truth, in the light of wanting to be civilized, you know, in ourselves as individuals and being able to exercise a level of civilization, maturity, authority with other people, to be able to work out peace, you know, amongst us, to where we don't have to be animals, man, on the like the lower animals who are ruled by their nature, who are ruled by their passion. Human beings are supposed to be able to be more responsible. And those upper levels that human beings are supposed to be able to exist on, a lot of us have been taken out of that ability, again, because we have been robbed of our knowledge of ourselves, our knowledge of our God, our knowledge of our great history on this planet. So a lot of us, man, you know, Malcolm said he said history is a people's memory. Without it, they are demoted to the level of the lower animals. So yeah, because our history has been robbed from us, a great number of us have been demoted to the level of the lower animals, where we need somebody else to save us from ourselves. We're dependent upon somebody else to save us from ourselves and to do something for us that we're supposed to be able to do for ourselves. It's like those commercials, man. I don't see as much of them as I used to, man. But, you know, those sad commercials that used to come on in the middle of the night, man, where it was like, yo, we got to save the animals, man. You saw the beat up cats. You saw the beat up dogs that were being neglected. And there were initiatives and they were asking you to contribute, you know, some money to a fund so that, you know, people can save and have a safe place for the dogs, for the cats, for the animals. The reason why they needed somebody to do such a thing is because they were animals. They don't have the upper levels of learning, you know, and being able to reason and being able to grow and being able to create plans and strategize, you know, in their lives as individuals to figure out how they can best live their life so that they could be the most responsible and independent as an individual, you know. And then when individuals who had that ability to learn and to grow, you know, and to create plans and strategize, you know, they can exercise that level of consciousness with other people who had the same level of consciousness, a compatible level of consciousness, where they can bring the best of themselves to meet in the middle, to create an environment that they all benefited from. The lower animals don't have that capacity. But we as a people, whether you want to call us black people, whether you want to call us, you know, Moors or Africans in America or African Americans or whatever, you know what I mean? No matter what you want to call us, you know, we have been robbed of that ability. You know, our history was stolen from us. Our divine value in ourselves, to know that we are not just here to be pawns. We're not just here to be dependents, you know, that in each life, man, in each body is housed a divine fraction or spark of the Most High God that created everything that we see on this planet, as well as the potentiality for many things that we haven't seen yet, you know. Because there are some people on this earth, man, that want to limit our ability to learn and grow, but so much so that we will remain dependent upon the system that they run and they control. So instead of us, they say that people, human beings, only use between 5 to 10% of their brain capacity. There have been interests on this earth that want to keep us at those low levels of thought process, 5%, 10%. If we could keep them at 5% of their brain capacity, if we could keep them at 10% of their brain capacity, they can never upset our ability to rule and dominate them. They'll always be dependent upon us from that low level of brain capacity that they're existing on at this point. But the world is suffering under this system. The world is suffering. The waterways have become polluted. And you know we can't exist but so many days without water. The air has been corrupted. And you know we can exist even much less, only a couple of minutes without being able to breathe. The media, the schools have been corrupted to maintain this unjust order of white people on top, black people on bottom, and everybody else in between. The schools have been corrupted. They don't promote free thought. They don't promote you believing in your own power, your own divinity, your own connection to the creative power that is yours as a child of the Most High God. They don't want you to reconnect with that, because that would give you the ability to rise up and threaten the system as it is, which is called the status quo, the way it is. And there are some men that are so in love with themselves and their ability to dominate the world and dominate everyone in it, that they would rather have this world destroyed as it is. They would rather, everything come to a halt if it meant that somebody else was to be able to rise up in their own love of themselves and their own ability to learn, to grow, to come up into the thinking and ability and power of the Most High God. To be little gods in their own lives, in their own families, in their own communities. And to share the creative power and authority that God has granted all of us. They would rather this world come to an end. They would rather this world continue to sink in the darkness of prejudice and bigotry and hatred. They would rather us continue, man, to poison ourselves, drinking water, man, that has been corrupted by all types of filth and toxicity that will literally choke to death as more and more pollution goes up into the air to where it's going to become hard for us to breathe. To where global warming, as they talk about, man, melts the polar ice caps. And you have more and more hurricanes and flooding and all types of, so-called natural disasters. But these disasters are not natural at all. They're caused by a runaway, egotistical, parasitic mindset that wants to be God besides God, but doesn't want to be a God of love and beneficence, to shine opportunity and ability to grow on all, regardless of race, regardless of ethnicity and gender. The gods that rule this planet are gods of wickedness, domination. I'm going to make sure that you never become developed. I'm going to make sure that you never grow into being able to use the creative power that you have the potential to be able to access, to be whatever you want to be, not only of benefit to yourself, but of benefit to the planet. If me losing control over the planet means that I have to give you the opportunity to grow into your full power as a child of the Most High God, then this planet is doomed. You know what I mean? From some of the interests that are in control right now. So I just wanted to say, man, just went off the top of my head and talked about a lot of the issues that are pressing to me. And I guess in a lot of ways should be pressing to everyone. But again, I say that there are some that have become so disconnected from how important it is to take responsibility over your own life so that you can live life to the upper levels of being able to live life, so that you can do unto others as you would have them do unto you, or so that you can want for your brother and your sister what you want for yourself, where you wouldn't feel threatened, man, by somebody else being able to rise to whatever level they rise into, because you know you have the same capacity. I say to the individuals, you know, that understand how important it is what I'm saying right now, I say to y'all, stop waiting for other people to help you, to support you, to join on to the positive efforts, man, that a lot of you are struggling to give birth to. Stop waiting, man. Because a lot of the people that you waiting for, so-called, a lot of them have never even declared or given an ounce of some type of sign that they want what you want. You know, a lot of our people, man, you know, black people and other peoples, but I'm speaking particularly to black people, black Americans, African Americans, again, whatever. A lot of our people, man, have sunken so far into the mud that they don't want the type of freedom that you're talking about. They don't want the responsibility that you're talking about, you know? Even if it means that they're going to continue to comfortably suffer in poverty, and not just, you know, material poverty, but mental poverty, spiritual poverty. Even if it means that they continue to be addicted to fleshly vices and addictions and passions, you know, that have some of us addicted to lives of lust, lusting for other, you know, sexually, lusting for other people sexually, or lusting for the ability to buy and consume other people's products. Not believing that you can create products of your own that will help you to build an economy that you can use to take care of your own needs, and you can begin to sell and get out on the open market and sell and trade and bring power to your community, to your own life and then your communities. There are a lot of people, man, who are afraid to move in that direction. So what are you saying, brother Mike? You not afraid? You saying that you don't got a job? Yeah, I got a job. I've worked for most of my adult life, but other people have benefited off of my labor more than me. And before I lay this life down, man, I want to be free the way I've been talking about, so that I get the biggest benefit out of my creativity, out of my imagination, out of my talents, out of the time, just the time that I expend, you know, the labor, the time that I spend. You know, I want to be able to get to the point, man, where I get the biggest benefit, man, out of my labor, out of my intellectual property, you know? And I want to, instead of me wanting that for people that have shown no sign or clue that they want the same thing, I'm going to do what I need to do in my own lane. And of course, I'm going to be willing to build with other people who feel the same way as I feel. And I would encourage them to leave people to their own decided course of how they want to live. If you come upon a people who don't want to be responsible, who don't want to be free, who don't want to be liberated, so that they can be responsible, so that they can enjoy the power of being a creator, a producer of some type of service, you know what I mean, or product or whatever, yo, leave them to themselves. and focus on being and doing for yourself what you would have them do. Show and prove that you're not afraid, because some of us are just as afraid as they are. We just have a little bit more consciousness than they have. Some of us, we're very good at talking about our plans and what we want to do. But then a lot of times when it comes to the follow through and execution, a lot of us are too afraid to follow through and execute. And this is why we're so focused on those who have shown no real clue a lot of times that they want what we want. We want to pass the buck, We want to pass the buck for others, man, because we're too afraid to make the moves that we say we want to make. So we'll point the finger. We'll deflect. If they would just wake up, man, and learn that, such and such and such, man, then we could get it popping. Nah, fam. That's not a good excuse. If what you're dealing with is the truth, then you need to be able to show and prove, man, that you really believe in that truth. Yeah, of course, man, the more people you can get to buy into the same idea, the more power it will have. But that doesn't mean, man, that you can't and shouldn't be a pioneer. To lead by example, Your ability to lead is not mitigated or taken away, your ability to lead, just because you don't have people following you. Whatever you do, you're a leader in. If you decide, I'm gonna do something totally different than what everybody else is doing, that makes you a leader. Your leadership is not justified by having people behind you. Your leadership is justified by you being able to have a thought, an idea, and you being willing to put your passion and your energy behind that idea, to start the process rolling. So having said that, man, I've been talking for almost a half an hour, and I definitely didn't mean to do that. But I say peace and elevation, man. I hope that you get something out of the little dialogue. Well, not even dialogue. It's a dialogue, man, if it's actually a monologue. It's me speaking to the camera, but it becomes a dialogue if, based upon what you heard, you begin to add on thoughts and actions of your own, and you definitely can leave me some comments that I definitely will respond to you. And I ask you, like I'm starting to realize I have to begin to ask, and I got to start doing it at the beginning of the videos that I shoot. I ask you if you have enjoyed the message or you feel the message has any worth, to please hit the like button and please subscribe, to my YouTube channel, and also share this message on your platforms that you have direct access to and have friends and have groups that you are subscribed to of your own. Share this on your Facebook. Make this go viral. Let's not only make viral or ask people to make viral, the injustices that we suffer. Energy flows where your attention goes. So if you put all of your energy and attention and focus on all that's wrong in the world, guess what becomes more powerful? All that's wrong in the world. The best way for you to begin to change things for the better is you have to begin to learn how to put in your energy into the solutions. Particularly solutions that you are committed to taking direct part in. So make a message like this go viral. A message of encouragement. A message of, trying to get you or encouraging you to focus on your own self-love and self-care. The life that you have is a wonderful gift. It's a wonderful opportunity to be a co-operator, a co-creator in the divine plan of the Most High God. You're here to add on value to your life and to overflow that value into the world. You're not here, man, to comfortably suffer and just breathe just for the sake of breathing and eat just for the sake of eating and take up space and add on nothing valuable, man, while you're here. So having said that, man, I say peace, love, and elevation to the family, man. It's your brother Mike X, signing off.